Meeting to order. Are there any public comments? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to item 3, which is to consider and or approve health insurance renewal rates for 2023, 2024. So we heard from Charla last week, and then y'all got this information that no company will quote for us because of our uncompetitive rates and it says poor claim history and unable to offer a competitive proposal. So we have that. That's not recording. We have that in writing. Turned off. The battery's charged. Good. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Judge. All right. So thoughts, comments. What do y'all think?
That was what we got.
Well, and it's not a bad thing. It's just.
No, I think we're happy to have that.
Yes, I do too. I think we have good insurance. I guess I don't ever use it.
I don't either.
Goodness.
Not on it. But so the question is, we got 9.9% increase. So do we split that and have the county pay for half? And then the employee pay for half, or does the county cover it all?
The increase.
Yeah.
We've got the options that Charla gave us. Did y'all have a chance to look at those a little bit more? Does anyone have any preference on any of those options? I know we talked, we might just start with our conversation on our retired. The people that are on our insurance that are retired. We have had a conversation, I believe, at our last meeting about possibly grandfathering in the people who are on the insurance and then not providing retirement insurance going forward. Do y'all have a comment on that? No?
At age 65?
Yeah, well, we have some under 65 that have retired, and we provide the insurance or a portion of the insurance. I think our conversation at our last meeting was to stop, grandfather the people in that are retired and on our insurance until they're 65. Then they go on Medicare. But we do have some that are on Medicare that we pay the supplement for, I believe. Is that right, Amy?
Yes.
Yeah. So we could going forward not insure, because the price of insurance is ridiculous for us. Not provide any retired employees insurance after this year. What are y'all's thoughts?
After 65. Is that what you said?
No, if anyone that retires is not eligible for the county insurance anymore.
It's your own insurance.
Instead of us paying for the people that are retired, say they retire at 60, so we're paying their insurance until they're 65. There's a lot, I've talked to a lot of counties. A lot of counties don't provide insurance to any of their retirees. That is just a benefit that we've extended to our retirees.
Might be time to stop that.
As expensive as our insurance is getting, we're going to have to do something.
Yeah, it might be an incentive for somebody to stay a little bit longer.
Anybody want to have a comment? I think personally, I think that we're to that point where it's costing, a lot of money every year to continue the insurance benefits for the people who are working. So I think it's time to maybe grandfather those people in and stop the retired insurance. Amy, how many people do we currently have on?
Now, under 65, we have 5. And then one will be falling off, the end of August. So we'll only have 4 on the under 65, as of now. And then we have 8 on the supplement that we offer.
Mhm.
The county pays $96.49 a month for that. And then the retirees pay $86.66 a month for that, and we have 8 people on that, so. That one is over 65.
Right. So I mean, those people we would continue since that would be my thought, to grandfather all those people in that we offered that to, and then
Just don't let it happen.
terminate that benefit
Yeah,
in the future. That could save us a little money going forward.
I think the one that's under 65 won't reach 65 till 2027. That will be the longest, and will be one for a few years.
Uh-huh.
So till 2027.
Okay.
If they'll do that.
I think we need to think that through pretty good, because when you do away with that till you get 65, then some people are locked into having to keep working because they just can't afford the insurance.
Yeah, that's true.
And they get in a real bind. Or someone that has issues and needs to retire, that wants to retire, then they really can't because they need insurance. So need to give that some thought before we do it, I think.
So if we kept everything, Amy, if this, correct me if I'm wrong, if we keep everything exactly the way it is and the county absorbs the rate increases, it's going to increase the county's insurance rate up $154,000. Is that correct?
Correct, and that includes the HSA, that's the contribution.
Right, that's everything.
Everything, yes.
Can you say how much?
It's that 154, 558, 80. If everything remains the same. And that's for the year, right?
Correct, yes, that is for the year. That would be the increase, not.
No, that's just how much more we're gonna pay.
Does the county have to pay any of the retiree insurance? Like what if we did, the retirees can pay the full amount and then, the county isn't out any, but we can still see, kind of grouped in the policy.
Keep them on the policy, but they have to pay for their own premium.
Still,
Same as the spouse does.
affordable compared to, because I know that was one of the benefits, that. And for me, that was sweeter benefits. When at least I can use that as my supplement. When I do retire, get to care.
I mean, yeah, that's an option.
Which is many years for you, Nancy.
Yes, that's right. But still at that, even if we're paying, for the full, then that's still gonna be a reasonable cost, moving forward. And of course, it's gonna increase, but at least it's not $1,500 a month jumping off of, the cliff that you're trying to retire to.
Chris, you're being awful quiet. What's your thought?
Everybody's thoughts. But you'll work it out.
There's always option to lower an HSA contribution.
That was, and yes, that's an option, it's always an option. But that, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, that was figured, that 125 is also figured in that the percentage that the 80-20 pays, right?
Correct, yes. So we tried to
Even it out.
even with the 125. So the 125 plus the premiums that the HSA that we cover equaled what the co-pay plan was minus the 125 that they pay for the co-pay plan. So we tried to balance it as close. So that way we're paying an evenly amount for the HSA, people that are on HSA and
The people that are on
ones
80-20.
80-20.
So one is not getting a better benefit than the other.
Right.
So if we lowered that HSA contribution, then the 80-20 people would have to pay more also, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
So we operate in a deficit. How much was our deficit? 395.
Total?
Yeah,
The approved budget deficit.
Yeah.
Somewhere around that.
but we never typically go into that.
No.
Okay. Was cutting the S or HSA messes up the math for the 80-20.
Percentage.
And then
Yeah. I mean, we could refigure it all.
I mean, it's whatever, if y'all want to do any other kind of scenario, whatever seems, whatever y'all want, we can, do that for you. Or Charlotte today. Really what y'all want to do on that.
So option one is leaving, of course, the renewal for the HSA. It stays exactly the same. And then the difference for option one for the 80-20 people is we see a little bit of a
209 difference for a year for an individual. 960 for the children, 2,400 for the spouse.
okay. What did you say? Say that again.
So the difference between these two. So it's
Okay, I'm looking at it.
960 and 2,400. The HSA will go up about 600 for the children, unchanged for the employee, and then 1,320 for spouse.
Okay.
And I will say, if the retirees, I know you can't make them go to a certain plan, but if we can educate some of them to get on the HSA. The 3 of the top 18 that are spending that much when we only have one. When we have 3 people on that, there's one other on the other one. Or where's the retirees? 1 on the HSA and 3 on the 80/20. We need for them to save money. We need to educate them to get them on the HSA, because if they're spending that much money, they need to be on the HSA. So if we can
Yeah,
try to,
a lot of the retirees, I don't, just because they've been used to that 80/20, it's really hard.
Right.
Those amounts went up. There was, a few that had switched over to the HSA for that reason,
right,
because it was more beneficial to. their-
Yeah, in the long run, yeah. Mhm.
Right. I think there'll be one and she. See on the HSA. And. Actually, there will not be anyone on the HSA. Any longer that are the retirees.
Right.
One had turned over 65 and one had passed away on the HSA. So the other 4 will be on the 80/20.
So we'll have
I mean,
4.
it's pretty easy to educate them. When you say you spend 5,000, then it's pretty much covered versus them paying 2,500 and then co-insurance up to $4,300. I mean, when they see how much they're paying, I mean, it should be pretty easy to get them to the HSA. I just wanted to, if they're gonna watch, I wanted to mention that because
Yes, that's good.
And that's,
Can't make
that's
them
what
do it, but-
Charlotte comes back when we have our enrollment time and educates everybody on those cost savings. So,
I think that over the years, the more people get familiar with it and comfortable with it, you can tell just by 80, it was 50/50 at
mhm,
one time with the HSA, and now it's, more than that, at least
Right.
95%. It's on the HSA.
so slowly but surely, people have transitioned to the HSA.
but that's gonna, I mean, if we can, obviously you can't tell us who they are, but you know who they are. So if you can meet with them and try to advise them as much as possible, that's gonna, the difference in the HSA retiree that they're paying every year versus, or that we're paying for them grandfathered in is gonna be less on the HSA. So that will save us money. Not forcing them, but making sure they understand, not just doing the group thing that Charlotte does and hoping they sign up. I mean, if we sit them down and make sure they understand it, that's gonna save us. I mean, that's over $800 per person that the county's paying more because they're on the 80/20 versus the HSA.
And we can, every year we do invite them to, those meetings with Charlotte.
We don't require retirees to go to that, right?
We don't
right.
require it, I think there's a few that live out of town and they probably would not be able to make it, but even sending them the information from her, we can do.
But we
that
could always do,
as well.
if they could jump on a Zoom so we could present them actually with the
I mean, there's
information.
only 3 or 4 people. So I mean, we can call them if we
Would
need
be
to.
helpful.
If they live somewhere cool, like out by the ocean, I'll
Yeah,
go
I'm
talk to
gonna
them
go-
first.
It's gonna volunteer to go give them that information.
Yeah. I'll give them a full presentation, PowerPoints and everything.
It'll take 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it's almost 1,500. Sorry, it's 1,500 difference if we keep them on the 80/20 versus getting them to the HSA. If we go with one of the renewals. So I mean, that's 3 to 5,000 that we could save there. Just
Why do we have to furnish both? HSA and 80/20.
you don't have to.
Why do we,
Why are we furnishing both?
why did they get the option? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's instances that you are unable to be funded. So there's some people that might be on the HSA that are unable to be funded. So they're not getting that 125 because they might be on their spouse's insurance as well. Or if some people want to, I don't know why they're double covered, but so they will not be able to be on an 80/20 with their spouse and then be on an HSA with the employee. So they're not able to be funded.
That's just part of the rules of the HSA. It's just like you can't be on the HSA if you're on Medicare or something. too.
Correct, so you cannot be on HSA, yeah, if you're on Medicare. You can opt out of your Medicare Part A, and then you'll be able to be on HSA, but you're still not able, if you plan on being on Medicaid by your 65, if that's what you decide that you want to do as well, you can't be funded for 6 months. So some people aren't being funded 6 months prior to their retirement if they are going to be on Medicare, excuse me. So, I mean, there's just different things on HSA that, and some people just, I think it gives them an option, it gives them another option. Some people don't feel comfortable with, the HSA. And that's why they pay the extra 125 a month. They feel like that gives them another option. So I know that there's a lot of other counties too, and I'm not sure with TAC if that would be available to where there's actually multiple options. So if they wanted to have a lower copay or they would have the option to pay more or pay less. So some of them offer 4 different options, which, it's more work on our office, but that wouldn't be an issue either, maybe even later. So it just gives them, if they want to have a plus plan and they want to have, a lower deductible, but they're going to pay more monthly. So there's a lot of options, but we make it pretty simple with here's your option HSA, you get 125, and then here's your option 80/20,
Well, I think next year, if prices keep going up, we are gonna have to be creative. Gonna have to figure out something, because we may have to, again, it goes back to what we've talked about before is pretty soon, we won't be able to provide services because we're covering all of the stuff. So anyway, yeah, you may have to get creative on presentation of what may be options. But this week, we have these options to play with. I just know it's tough, and I say it every year and I always get frowns, but the more benefits go up, the weight that has on deciding for raises. And I think employees need to hear that as we have to wrestle with, percentage wise or amounts. This plays a huge factor in whether people get raises or how much of a raise they'll get. And so it's one of those aspects that we're making a decision now for health insurance, but a month from now, we'll be making a decision about raises
Right.
with this in
Affects a lot
mind.
of things.
So when we're making decisions today about health insurance, I'm also thinking about raises and other stuff that we'll be talking about down the road. So why it seems like we're kind of slow or just unsure, it's because of this factor. It's not just a decision today and good luck. It's a decision based on the other decisions we got to make tomorrow.
This is a raise. Covered.
What'd you say, Gary? I think I like that.
9.9% increase is a raise.
Yeah,
I mean, no matter how
That's
you.
part of it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
part of the wage increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
It's a
we.
big part of it.
Mhm.
Bottom line is gonna be the more you pay on this, the less you will get, be able to give a pay raise. It's obvious.
I like option one, minus what y'all talked about. Grandfathering those that are currently in the retirement program, but not adding to it.
Not doing it in the future.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Even matter, don't matter the age?
Oh, yes. Did y'all have another option?
No.
Your option one is raising the deductible renewal. All right.
Okay,
So
tell
this
me
is-
again,
This is the.
because I'm
renewal
looking at it
You're
differently.
looking, option one, they're raising the the copay.
For the 80/20,
deductible to
right?
3,000 for
The 3,000.
renewal one is if you leave it the same and you just raise the percentage, this is what that.
Oh, so renewal,
Option one raises the deductible 500, option two raises the deductible 1,000, so 35. Those are
Right.
the difference.
yes, yeah, I understood the raising of the deductible. I was looking at the 7.33% as opposed to the 9.90% impact on the county.
So you're wanting to raise the deductible up to the 3,000 for that 7.33%.
Yeah, because it's just a $500. I know, Judge,
Raises it from 2,500 to 3,000.
yeah,
Same.
but it would save us a little bit of.
Saves
Oh.
$900.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, no,
It'd save
no,
us $900 and make an employee pay
It'll save
$400.
10,000,
oh, I
a
looked,
year.
I looked
Yeah.
at the wrong thing.
so not really.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked straight at where the box is. At the 911, 9.1.
So the percentage looks great, but there's not a whole lot on that plan,
Yeah.
so that's why it really doesn't make such a big impact on that. And like the HSA, like Charlotte said, that's the max that we can go, is about 5,000, we can't go any higher on the HSA. We can always go lower, but not higher, which of course that would increase.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about HSA. I think it's.
Didn't we raise that up last year?
We did, and
Yeah.
we're at the highest. that
Yeah.
we can Go with the back anyways.
Well, I
You wanna
see.
Stay away from raising the deductible too much on the 80/20 because you're getting pretty much, if you raise it too much, there's no reason to have the HSA or the 80/20 because it's going to be the same
Mhm.
coverage, basically with more
Benefit.
co-insurance
Yeah.
after they meet the deductible.
Well, I was kind of leaning to what Ben said about not offering two options, but after hearing that some people have to have an option because of the rules. I've always had to do my own insurance when I got employed by the county. And so I used to always have to do that for myself because my wife's always had insurance through her company. And so I've
A lot
always,
of that's the HMO, so you have to go to a certain doctor most of the time, I mean.
oh, no, I can pick whatever I
you can
wanted,
pick
yeah.
whatever.
With the open market now,
Um,
it was kind of, I just listened to everybody tell me how great I was. And how much they wanted my money. So if we just bought it does increase a little bit of the payment to the 80/20 for the employee. If we just renew at the 9.90. If we're avoiding raising deductibles.
So they're currently, if they're 80/20, they're currently paying 125.81 a month. Is that right?
Yeah, and they'll be paying 143.
143. So what it says.
Yes.
Can't read that.
I think that, I'm gonna figure it out, but I think that HSA, that would put them paying, y'all paying a little more to the HSA than, to the 80. But let me think, let me do it.
Well, they're gonna pay $17.38 more a month.
It's not much.
It's 209 for the year.
Mhm.
Children are 960 more, and then the family's 2,400.
I think that's the part that hits our employees the most. when they add their-
They have to cover their family.
I mean, that's obvious because we're paying the employees, but the complaint I get from the employees is that it's a lot of money to add their family.
We're under for the spouse. I didn't even do the family because we don't have anybody because of that,
Yeah,
We don't have zero on the family.
because it's 24.
someone said
Yeah.
if they were to add their family,
Yeah.
$4,000.
I was about to say, yeah, if they were to add their own family, $24,000.
Mm.
And some people barely make that in their salaries. There was a lady that worked, as you are crunching numbers, I'll just fill time with the story, but there was a lady that worked at the school system here. And she had all of her family on. She was just a what are they called? Paraprofessional,
Mhm.
teacher's aide.
Mhm.
And she ended up having to pay the school $12 a paycheck because all of
If you
her
work for
insurance
insurance,
plus $12.
plus 12. Wow.
Right?
Insurance is expensive.
That was several years ago. When you, like I said, I'm fine with just renewing, but I'll let someone else motion to end the retiree, additional retiree thing. Because those have to be two separate ones, right? Because those are two separate actions.
Yeah, really, the only thing today is the health insurance renewal.
Well, they'll need to know the
Yeah.
retirement as well, the percentage that we'll want to pay, that will also need to be on there.
Yes.
Yes, the percentage. of
Yes.
What y'all are gonna pay.
Yeah, it's part of the health
Right.
Under
decision.
65.
I was just
only,
curious if we have to
though.
have two motions.
No, you can make
It can be all.
Yeah, I think you can.
If we renew it, keeping the current percentage, that's 140. A little bit over 140,000 raised instead of the taking all of the increase, the 154, 558. But that doesn't include the HSA contribution.
Okay, now say that again.
The renewal rate from Upshaw, that when we just do the 1,500, the NGS renewal on the first sheet,
Mhm.
the county will pay 140,180.47. That's an increase. That's the increase on that renewal versus the 154. What is it? The 154, 558.80.
The 154 includes the 125,
Shouldn't. I don't think it does.
80, 20, and
Because when you're doing, I don't think it does. Because when we do 81 at 1,500 a year, that's 121,500 for the year. There's no way that it only goes up 30,000 in that one.
I think she did it in the combined annual employer contribution. I think that's the total at the bottom. And it shows the percentage on the HSA and on the first page of the,
that 9.8.
the renewal on the HSA option. I think that 1,569,000 is included with the 125.
Right, total it does, but the increase doesn't. Because we're not changing that, so the increase would stay. Well, as of now, she didn't figure that we would change it, so that would be the.
We have 3, 4, well, 5. County employees here. Do y'all have a thought? I'm gonna ask you. Y'all have any thoughts on insurance?
She's only kids.
Yeah,
And you have your kids covered?
I do. I have both of my kids covered. They're 6 and 10. After last year's increase, you took away, we're on the HSA plan, which whenever I changed jobs, that was a perk. To be able to have a plan that covered my kids and myself with money going into the account for both. Well, last year y'all voted for no more dependents because not everybody has dependents, which is fine. I understand that, but I'm 31 and I feel like I got started kind of early, so I needed that, or it was nice to have that. But that was taken away and our insurance went up, which took a hit both ways. And fortunately now we do have dental insurance. So at this point, for health insurance, where I just get a contribution for myself, not my children, granted, my children go to the doctor more than I do, given they're 6 and 10. I am paying, well, I make significantly less now having to pay out for insurance than when I started. Which insurance we need, I need. It would be nice if I didn't have to cover my children, but I do. I'm their mom. That is what I do to keep them safe. So you say not to cover the 9.9 increase. Understandable. That is $154,000. That's a lot of money. So if it's between health insurance or a raise, are you going to give us a 9.9% raise to cover that increase that is coming out of my check? Or will it, at this point, am I just working for health insurance?
So without going in, the 9.9 is what the county eats.
So what is that breakdown to
That's
per
still,
employee?
regarding, it's you said you use HSA.
HSA. I pay $511.42
And 1142,
a month.
511.40.
511. And it's if we didn't cover that, that would go up to 562.01.
Okay.
So it goes up about $50.
And then if you're gonna lower the HSA contribution.
No, we
haven't
You won't?
can't.
We have not discussed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because copay at the HSA level, if I take my kids in, it's $100. I don't care if they've got strep or they need stitches, it's $100. My daughter ended up in the ER in January, and that has cost me $6,000.
Shouldn't have cost you 6,000.
That's what it's take, that is what my medical bills.
And you need to, if it ever goes over the 5,000, that's the reason to have, you need to come see me.
Well, between
and
like
go
the
with
ER,
Charlotte.
the doctors, the
It's still, as long as it
5,000 should be the max.
should be the max,
Then
unless it was an out-of-network ER doctor.
it was at Northwest.
If it was out-of-network ER doctor, then that would be the only reason it was more. But the best thing, and that's what Charlotte's here for too, so you need to come talk to me, or we can give you Charlotte's number, and then that way you're not paying all that.
I'll gladly bring you my stuff because
No, that's great, because.
I mean, that's why we have Charlotte, so she can go to bat for,
okay.
you know, and try to get the,
Like I
yeah,
said, it was.
Yeah.
2013, something like that.
Yeah.
So with the HSA, what that should be is you pay 5,000 of that for the rest of the year. You don't pay.
Anything.
Covers it.
That's, it'd be nice, but
Yeah.
like I said, I've got a stack of medical bills because
Well, that's what-
ER in January and then she had strep in February and she was all sick.
Just bring me your stack and we'll get a release for Charlotte and Charlotte can go in. See what,
Yes, that'd be good. That'd be really
get
good.
you reimbursed. You should only have paid 5,000 unless it was an out of network. So sometimes you do end up paying a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that you
And
get our
granted, the
doctors.
original price was $27,000, so I felt like, well, 6,000 better than that. So,
But yes, I would just, see what's going on.
but like I said, I understand insurance goes up. That's a given. Whenever. What's the point of working if you're working for something that you may or may not use? Obviously, I'm gonna use it because my little one tests the Jesus in me, but. It's nice to have, but at the same time, we all know cost of living is not getting any better.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing. I think it just reiterates to us the weight of what decisions we make. As I've heard from many employees, y'all took. We did what we could to save the county and so that we could have the raise that everybody got last year was a decision we made. It was never a commissioners taking anything. It was a decision we had to make for the bigger picture of the
Right.
county.
And that raise was good because that raise did offset the increase in prices. So after all of everything went up, we are
Yes.
grateful, yes. I was able to bring, it was,
It's always a balance and I know the heart behind what everybody's saying. We didn't intend to take, we just had to benefit the whole picture of the county. And we'll be making that decision also again, as we're doing right now, to see as we have to pass the burden on to our employees a little bit, we will still burden the bulk of it as much as we can.
Were you here just for the insurance part or are y'all gonna talk about the budget stuff? Like, were you here for this mainly? Good. And that's why I wish more employees would plug in about that to the conversation because we have these conversations and we don't hear anything about it until the decision's made. And then we're the bad group.
that's true.
And so
Right.
I do appreciate you being here. I love hearing that from people because it's, I say this all the time, but I mean, you don't realize how deep the water is here until we make those decisions and then nobody gives us that input. And so we have to make that kind of blind sometimes unless we just go to people and talk individually. So I really do appreciate you coming just for that part to say that. And so I'm glad you spoke up and talked to us about it.
Thank you.
And going forward like this and the raises, I mean, anybody that's watching this or will see this, if you're an employee, I would send us an email, come to us. I mean, anything beforehand to give us that info, that insight to kind of help us guide, because these aren't easy decisions at all.
Of course, we know everybody says we want. Just keep in mind, there's a lot of want in the county. We have to balance it.
Pay us pretty well for this area. I mean, so sometimes.
Now, there is a balance.
As far as counties go, we're paid well.
We are.
We do.
For counties our size,
Yes.
For people our size.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, these increases are not our idea. So, I mean, and if you would get a raise, it wouldn't be 9.9%. I'm just saying,
Right.
you know, if we cover the whole thing, that is a raise. Because it's something we have to do. Yeah. Appreciate you telling us so. That does influence it a little.
So I think I'm ready to move. Unless there's more deliberation.
y'all have more questions, comments, thoughts? Are we all on the same page?
Now, after I make a motion, So I don't want to make a bad one, is if I'm making a motion for this, and then I want to include the, not adding the future retirees to, was there a program name for that, or was it just?
Just under 65, so, but we need to know, like, on the current, really right now, we just need to know on the current, how much are y'all gonna pay? Are you gonna pay any more? Are they gonna eat the cost? The retiree's gonna eat the cost that are currently on there, that we need to know that, so. Is the county?
And do we-
gonna do
Is there a percentage we pay on the retirees?
Yes, there's a percentage,
So basically, are we gonna keep that percentage the same? Are we gonna,
are y'all gonna pay any more, or are they gonna eat
eat the increase?
the 9%? Are they gonna eat the whole 9.9 increase? And I don't have the percentage. Yes, I don't know why I don't, but I don't have the percentage of what the county pays for the under 65. I believe it's like 52%, but I can get a more exact as well. So I would say, I'm sure, I mean, you can, yes, Dwight, you can say that you don't want to add those, but we still need to know, you know, if
The ones that are currently on. Which is 4 people.
correct. It was not very many. Correct.
So I move to, we can enter into the plan, renewal plan for HSA 300 as presented, as well as the renewal plan for 1500 NGS as presented.
There's 3 sheets on the one that current percentage split.
With the 9.9.
The 9.90%.
That's the difference.
What are we saying?
So the county's absorbing the increase.
So look,
Yes. Which page?
well, this tells you at the bottom. The contribution remains the same, so that's putting it on the employee and go up and back up.
So on that 80-20, then the employee's gonna absorb the increase,
Then the first page is taking the
which is the $17 a month.
split between employer and employee. So 3 different sheets of that.
Is that what you're saying, Dwight? $13 a month? I think it was 17. Isn't it 17 a month? 120.
I don't know.
So this sheet,
The first sheet keeps the split the same, go back. First sheet keeps the split the same. Keeps that percent.
based on page 1. I have, this layout's different than last year's layout.
Well, this is actually the same on Charlotte's from the Oakshire. And then we kind of make it a little more friendly. So what I could do is take Charlotte's if you'd like and make it a little more basic as this, so it's just a
No,
little
'cause
easier to read.
What I just realized is these are 3 different pages with 3 different
Option.
option.
And she went over that with.
And I was thinking it was just more details about option one, two,
Right,
and
but you
three.
think that on your Zoom, you kind of froze a lot, so you probably missed a little bit.
Yeah, it was cold in our room.
So that could be. But yes, there are different options. And this one,
Because
the
what y'all
first
had
page
last
is-
year, I loved, but I work with this page one. So my motion, in regards to page one.
So is your motion that the county is gonna absorb all the increase? So the,
If I read
That's
here,
not what I'm.
no, it's that the employer contributes rates for both plans have been, built based on the current percentage split between employee and employer.
We need to start over here.
Well, just.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to get along.
Let the motion die.
Let that one
The
die, 'cause
motion made, so let it die, and we can talk.
okay, is there a second? Hearing no second, the motion dies.
okay, it died.
We can, yes, but I'm gonna give you a chance to discuss further, because I always say, is there any more discussion? But if we have a motion and second, we gotta vote on it. So you like what you see on this option right
Yes.
here. On the 80-20, is that the county absorbing that increase? Or the employer? Employee, I'm
Page
sorry,
two or page one?
on this page one,
Employee with paid 143.19.
the,
So it's split on the 80-20 plan, it's split the 50-50 on that. However, the HSA will continue to be paid in full.
Cause the other three
so
pages.
there,
First sheet, it takes what we're paying split now and just increases both to what the increase would be.
right, so it increases the people who are on the 80-20 will now be paying 143.19. There, so they are gonna have to pay $17 more a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, here.
And that continues with the children and also the spouse.
That's the increase of individual for the year, 960 for the children for the year, and 2,400 for the staff. On the HSA, that'd be 600 for children, 1,320 for the spouse. Increase.
That's 80 something a month more for employee with children.
The other two pages has more increase. The employee.
Right.
I don't want.
I agree with you, Dwight. I like this information on page one. Sure. And the increase for HSA is $50. On the HSA employee plus children. Yeah, looks like $50.
I was just doing math. in my head.
So if you look too on that, so it's not confusing, she does. Hold on, hang on.
This information that you gave us, is that the county, the county absorbing the increase?
Correct, yes. That would be the county absorbs everything. And
And the employee continuing,
pay what they're already paying.
and so the total increase is 154,558.
That's leaving everything exactly the way it is, huh? 154.
Count it.
Yeah, and it's 1.9%.
Yeah, 59.9.
Well, currently, the county pays a total HSA and 80/20 of 1,523,217 a year with the 125 contribution.
So raise it to one.
But raise it to two.
Two
2
million.
million.
It shouldn't, it's only 154.
No, yeah.
It would raise it to.
Oh, you're right, 160.
161.
Yeah.
1,600,000.
Say what?
Right,
1,600,000 was what we're already paying
I put the 5 in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
and adding this to the.
Yes,
And 154,550.
Problem with not keeping it, with doing that though, is in the next year when it goes up again, then you have a larger gap. So then you have to decide, are we gonna keep the percentage then?
Right.
Or
right. I mean, this option one that Charlotte's got here keeps those percentage splits even. Is that correct, Amy?
Except for it pays total on the HSA.
It what?
It pays on the HSA completely. If anyone's on the high deductible plan, it still pays the zero. They will, the
Right.
employer will still pay zero.
Right,
But yes, it is a.
but it keeps the percentage
Split.
split the same. So one employee or one employee is not gaining more than another. It's all equal. It would be my thought to keep it like that. Because like Chris mentioned, next year that is gonna get bigger and bigger. Was that your motion?
That was
Was
my
option
motion.
one. Now we have to decide, we have to talk about the HSA and then the retiree stuff.
So do I reiterate this?
What do you mean?
motion?
Well, hold on a minute. What do you mean the HSA?
Are we gonna leave that the same?
The one
Those are the-
twenty-five
yeah.
contribution?
Yeah, that's the way the balance of the one.
That-
280.
Yeah.
That is the built in with the equal split.
The 80/20 is what I mean.
Then we'd have to,
Well, I'm fine with it. I'm just saying those are the three things we have to decide.
I would,
It sounded like it came from here.
It's gonna drop it.
Mm.
And then the retirees, we have to talk about that.
yeah, we need to,
Okay. So I need to say, or anybody can say it.
it would be my thought to leave the HSA the same.
So I
As
say.
it is right now.
That's what I was
With the
saying.
contribution of 125
Yes.
for the employee.
Okay, which is in that plan,
It's all built. in.
SA 300, right?
Yeah,
Because those are the titles of the plan. Okay,
yeah, the renewal HSA,
okay.
but we need to talk about retirees too.
So I would say, if I'm making that motion, I would say,
Let's have a discussion first before.
Oh,
we make a
okay.
motion.
sorry.
Let's have a discussion about the retirees. So we don't have
I
to,
was trying to write the motion out.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. I agree that we should grandfather those that are currently on the plan, but do not add any others in the future.
and how much would we propose that we pay of the retirees increase, all of it? Or,
We poll the audience.
or
We can't do that. We'd have to do this.
or the percentage, we'll keep the percentage the same or let them,
Oh,
If we're gonna grandfather
talked
them in,
about
we need
that.
to leave it. We're gonna grandfather them in going forward and we're gonna keep the percentage the same on the other one.
the percentage that we pay
Right, split.
the same, but they'll still get an increase on their premium.
Yeah,
Yes,
because it'll split it.
That's the percentage
The
split.
county of how much the county pays and their portion will increase.
So 50/50. So 50 is gonna be to the retiree and 50 to the county, is this correct?
that's what we do now, right? 50/50.
No, it's a little different. It's like 52. It changes because last year they had to eat the increase. So they actually pay more than the county pays. So I can get those numbers real fast if you'd like. Sorry, I don't have them.
How much increase do we know how much this plan will increase on them?
It would increase the 9.9. It would, if they ate that.
So if they're on the 80/20, it goes from 608 to 668. But if they're on the HSA, it goes from 484 to 531.
Right.
I would leave the percentage split the same, but try to push them to the HSA because that's gonna save us overall $1,700, $1,800 as the county. And then
I'm okay with that.
I'd say leave the percentage the same.
Yeah.
It's the only fair thing to do.
Yeah, fine with that, but,
Yeah.
So,
that just, we would just, like, the options are to end it for retirees under 65, but then that supplement's still gonna be there, right? Or that's, I mean, do
Yeah.
we,
the people who are doing the supplement,
Right, and we go through Hartford on that, that's something that we don't have to send in at this moment. That starts January 1, it starts over. We could still go ahead and if you'd like to present it, if you don't want to add anyone on that.
to allow them to use the county as a supplement. Because we're paying for that. How much?
Correct.
50 split two or whatever?
And we're paying 54%, and the retirees are paying the other, so. And that is, they're paying 90, we're paying $96.49 per employee. They're paying 86.66, so it's not very much, it's just a supplement. For their Medicare is what it is, so we pay $14.65 a month for those employees, and there's 8.
Well, I know it's not, may not seem like a lot now, but it could turn into a lot as we continue on, so.
I think a lot of times with that supplement, you can pretty much go on your own and get just as, I mean. just
Yeah,
as good.
I heard Charlotte say that last week.
Yeah, didn't you say some of our,
Even, I mean,
retirees?
Kathy went and on her own, I mean, if she felt like this,
Well, the amount of retirees that we have, if we only have 8 on that, then, I mean, there's got to be better plans out there than ours. Because we have a lot of retirees.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of people just go and get their own supplement. For the most part, I think it was pretty similar in the pricing of what the employee pays, so. Even if we just grandfathered those 8 people, and I don't think it would be as much as an issue as if the ones that are. The ones that are coming close to wanting to retire.
So since we pay, and this might be a question for Charlotte, since if we do that after 65 and they're retired, can they contact Charlotte as part of being a, we don't, yeah, since they're not on our, I don't just want to kick 65 and over to the curb and say, well, do all your research yourself. Is this something that Charlotte would help them find a supplement since they used to be part of it? Does she do that, or has she done
I'm
it?
sure I could ask her about that. I know we do have another guy named Horace that we usually refer to. He's out of Amarillo, and he takes care of a lot of that, the supplements, and helps everyone feel comfortable to get on to start their Medicare. So
When they retire, then like you
when
give
they
them that
retire,
stuff, or do they have?
they
to ask?
retire at 65, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Do we pay him too? Is he on
No,
our-
no, not at all. No.
just refer.
It's just the referral.
Okay,
of someone, I
right.
mean, there's multiple ones out there. That's just one that we just refer.
Okay.
That we know does take care of the ones that turn 65. So a lot of times, that's who we refer it out to. But on the under 65, if someone retires, if they're under the age of 65, yes, we could, of course, send them to Upshaw if we decided not to provide that service under 65.
Sorry. Be quiet. You're good. So do we leave the retirees where they're at, or do we grandfather in and stop?
I think we ought to grandfather in and then stop future. Gonna have to do something.
So that would be no more retiree insurance benefit, no more supplement, right?
Right.
This will be pretty tough for some of our retirees.
Could y'all give an option to where the county just did it, like where they could still
keep the insurance, but they have to pay for
They
it.
have to pay 100% and grandfather in the other, ones that are on there right now with
Right,
the same percentage. But still be able to offer it, when they retire.
on their dime. Yeah.
But on their dime,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
Not saying that. Most people.
Because some people might not be able to get other insurance,
So maybe just keep it still an option, but at 100%.
I'm okay with that.
Well, if we're talking about,
That sounds good.
I mean, if we're talking about, trying to save our employees money and they can still pay for that, the claims that they file are still gonna affect our current employees.
Yeah, it's
And
gonna
so
affect our
when we
rate.
allow retirees to pay full, and when they become really sick. And that's just strictly business. I'm not saying,
Right,
but the current employees are gonna have to eat that.
yeah,
Like,
the
that's why
increase.
that's why we're here. So I mean, that's something that we have to think about. I mean, if we're ending retirees because of the business side, but then we allow that, and that's gonna hurt our current employees more than.
Yeah, you got a point.
Yes.
You want to end it, you gotta end it.
And I know it's tough and I know it's a hard thing because, you want to say, well, I worked for the county so many years and
Right.
now they're kicking me to the curb, but
And that's pretty much what's happening.
what do you do? I mean.
But at the increase of 9.9,
Yeah.
I
it's
mean,
gonna
we've
keep-
had that kind of an increase the last couple of years.
And we keep getting denied by other insurance companies because of our claims.
The main reason for the raises. And the premiums are because of the claims. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's just, we've got to fix that long term or.
That's why everybody needs to get involved with wellness program. Saying,
No, I mean, other diseases don't.
well,
Respond
You
well
can't-
to, it
yeah.
doesn't matter how well you are, that
true, but that could help a lot of people.
there are a lot that need to. And smoking cessation and. Stuff like that.
Right. Can we come to a consensus with that? Ben, what are your thoughts?
I just don't like the idea of abandoning,
The retirees,
and that's locking them into having to work till they're 65. Regardless of how many years they've got. I know we gotta do it because of the money, but I still don't like the idea.
all right?
Well,
I really don't like it at all,
I don't think any of us like doing that.
because that's really not treating the retirees very well.
There's a lot
Now,
of,
what do we do about it? I don't know.
there's a lot of businesses that require you to work to a certain age, unfortunately, though.
Some
at the end of
people
the day,
started
this-
with the county, they started 20 years old or something. They have,
I
you
could,
have to have 45 years in to, before they can retire. They have to say 65. That's, that's the reason some people retire earlier than 65 is just because they have enough years.
But this isn't really kicking it to the curb when it's a benefit. That's offered and not. I mean, when you're talking benefits versus. Like, we're not guaranteed like that we have to do that. That's something that we've given. To them. So if you end it, I mean, people know. Kind of what they're getting into, like any job, like if they don't have retiree insurance, you know that you have to work until you're 65 wherever. I mean, this is a pretty common,
That is true. It's just not the way the county's ever did it. I agree with you, but
there's a lot of things our county hasn't done that.
if you leave a company somewhere, you lose your insurance. That's a given.
yeah,
I agree with Ben. It's business end. It's a decision we need to make for the benefit of our current employees. But it's a hurt decision.
and our
to make.
taxpayers,
Yeah, and our
That
taxpayers.
depends on our tax rate.
But I do hate that we're having to make that decision in today's economical climate, climate regarding healthcare.
It's going to change up a lot of what some of the current employees have, but some people have 35 years but they're not near 65 and they were planning on retiring. This will change that. They don't have a choice.
Well, it can be done because I've done it.
It can be done.
Had to.
If you also get on the HSA, if you're young and you're gonna put in 35 years, you get on the HSA plan. If you retire at 60, and you should, in theory, have 5 years, I mean, that HSA can add up fairly quickly. If it's,
Well, you don't know what your health issues are.
True, I mean, you
Everybody's
don't know.
different.
but after $5,000, then it all kicks in. I mean, it's a little bit of planning on their end too. If it's done, and that's why I'd like to get those others to the HSA, because I mean, if you put in even 10 years, I mean, you've got 3 years. Even if you've paid like 5,000 of the year, like 1 or 2, 3 years, you still have a couple of years built up that you can only have that 5,000 that you've got to cushion you till 65.
That's why I really think the retiree and this should be separate, because we need to make a motion about our health insurance. And then our retiree thing should stand alone.
Well, they're on here though.
The, you know.
Well, what I'm
part
saying
of
is,
the health
I think
insurance.
what I'm saying is we are deciding that, yes, this plan sounds great and these percentages sound great. Where we're hung up right now is what are we doing for retirees? And so the plan that we are wanting to vote on is good, ready to go. It's what are we doing with the retirees is where we're kind
But the
of.
retirees do affect that.
Right.
policy.
Right,
So whatever you decide on the retirees is going to end up affecting that cost.
This cost, I think we've all agreed that all the current retirees are built into this cost.
right.
That's a
Just won't
done,
be adding anybody.
right, with the same percentages.
Right.
The decision we need to make is, are we gonna add anyone in the future?
I think because it does keep affecting us getting insurance, we just can't. I know that sounds heartless, but.
That's kind of making everyone say, okay, I got to work till I'm 65. Don't matter how many years I've got. That's what's ended up doing. Well, that's never been the way the county's done it. That's what we're cutting from them.
Yeah.
That's when they went to work here and they've worked here for all these years. They were figuring on that being.
But have we
How
ever
they split
had this
that.
kind of increase before? That's the difference.
Or we can have them put 30 years in where they're paying a lot of money because we had cover retirees. And when they get there, I mean, that they paid so much more in the premiums because we've done that, and it's a wash anyway.
I don't like it, but I think we're gonna have to move in that direction just to keep
I
our
really don't like it.
rates affordable.
I mean, to get it back down to somebody with kids that's working with us currently, we have to do something.
Mhm.
So I mean, we can't just say, well, sucks to be you. Hope you figure it out. We're covering everybody. I mean, there's going to be somebody that we're going to affect long-term. And right now we're affecting our current employees across the board. And so the 8 people that are choosing to stay on the supplement is far fewer than the 130 people that we have working for us now that we hope we get 30 to 35 years instead of in 3 years, she finds somewhere with better insurance and she says, well, I have to go because I'm paying so much here. And so, I mean, that's
Insurance is still going up anyway.
well, it is,
That's irrelevant.
but that doesn't give us an excuse to not try to make cuts and try to fix what we need to fix. I mean, the percentage of retirees that are affected by this going forward are far fewer than the full-time employees that are affected by it now. And so unfortunately, as heartless as it seems, I hate to I agree with you. I hate to do that, but at the end of the day, when a lot of them are retiring, they're going on their own anyway. They're finding their own stuff that works for them and that's a business move for them. They're not saying I put 30 years into the county, I'm going to go ahead and pay more because I put 30, they're going to save money in the long run. So I mean, at some point we have to do that as well. To be heartful towards our full-time employees.
I agree.
So, I mean, that means that we try to get them to work here till 65, and that's what we do. A lot of companies and a lot of entities that employ over 100 people, they have that number. We have to set that number at some point. So I agree with that. Unfortunately.
So we'll make the
Ready?
motion. Yes. I don't know if I'm ready because I don't know really what I'm saying, but I hereby move that we accept, oh, my computer logged off. I hereby move that we accept the renewal plan for the HSA 300 at 90 or 9.90% as referred to on page 1 of the BC option, as well as the renewal of the 1500 NGS plan at 9.90% as referred to on page 1 of the BCBS option, which is a current percentage split between employer and employees. I also move, or I don't know if I have to use the word also, to grandfather our current retirees from the county to offer these options. However,
Keep them the same, right?
keep them the same, but end the program for any additional or new
Future
future
retirees.
retirees.
I want all of that in the minute.
She's getting it. She's getting it. Okay. Did you get that, Amy? Okay. So we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the health insurance and retirees?
What about the over 65? I'm sorry.
The
Over
supplemental?
65 for the supplement, is that included in that?
I would say yes, correct? That was included in your motion that the current retirees and people that we have on the
Yes.
supplement
So both.
all stays the same,
They all stay the same, but no additional.
but no additional after this year
Right.
Sorry.
or after today, I guess.
Yes, whenever, because we're taking, this is effective today.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Oh,
Oh, do we have more discussion? You can go ahead. I won't take a vote yet.
well, I was trying to see.
You're just being dramatic.
No. If it's effective today, I mean,
Well, the
As far as-
insurance won't pick up till.
well, I know
October
that doesn't
1.
kick in, but I'm just saying.
Insurance open enrollment is August,
October 1.
October 1.
Oh,
No, it's August, isn't it?
right, but it won't be effective till October.
Right, it'll be effective October 1.
Open enrollment, yes. will be.
I just-
But I think the retiree thing needs to be effective today. What if someone retires tomorrow?
Or what if they do and they were thinking about it?
I have to rethink.
This is getting pretty unfair.
That's what I'm gonna say. I don't know.
Come on.
As far as I think we set it toward, my personal thing, you set it till the end of this year. I
Or
mean, you just
fiscal
say,
year.
you
Yeah.
just say today,
Fiscal
sorry
year.
about you, sucks if you're gonna retire at the end of June.
So
and
October
you
1.
plan to do this.
Yeah, that'll work.
I think we need to give them a little bit of a cushion to, in between
Plan.
the grandfather,
Decision.
just cut them off. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes.
All right, so are you good with October 1, which is our fiscal year? Because that's when our insurance renews anyway.
It should be on renewal.
Yes.
renewal date.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I
the other
thought,
thing.
I thought if we were making this decision,
October
the
what?
enrollment starts tomorrow,
No,
Oh,
enrollment's in August.
then yeah, we're fine.
Okay, so you're good with October 1.
October 1,
Okay,
effective October 1.
all right, so that was
At the end of.
amended part of the
Yes.
motion. Okay. All right, so is that still your second, Gary?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
Sorry.
Any further, no, good discussion. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Well, thank
The
y'all
only
for
other thing I have on the,
walking me through that.
right.
Tomorrow.
The only other thing I have is the budget work session. Did we want to talk about the airport budget?
Well, it's not really anything we have to talk about because I was looking at it. I mean, it doesn't
50
hurt.
to 55.
Well, that's on the job description, but
Right.
Dennis was making over 60. And so that's what's budgeted right now. What his salary
Right.
was last year. So it's
That
more
was with longevity and
semantics.
stuff too, right?
It was 61.
I don't think that was with long.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think he's 61.5 without longevity.
Okay.
And so we have that,
Yeah.
but we have that,
Posted the job
right.
for the airport manager, so.
And on the, just FYI, on the job description, it shows 50 to 55.
Yes, it does.
But that was with a house. And I suggested, well, I think I suggested that we increase it from, since there is no house, to 55 to 58 starting.
Yeah, you're taking away benefits.
Right. So just add like 2,400, if that's okay, when we start that process.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Me.
Now, the posting still says 50 to 55 because we haven't had this discussion. But when. we're in
It's
that
been
process-
posted until July 5th. Yeah, I think. So. Anybody else have any budget stuff they want to talk about?
Nancy?
Yeah, but the one and that was, my part-time person, currently he's making $9 an hour. I would like to make something up to 10.50.
Right. We can,
And then that also, allow for summer temporary next year.
So when you're filling out your budget sheet.
she did.
I did.
Okay, you added that in there?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, she did.
And Leisha's got pretty much all those numbers plugged in. She should be sending it out to y'all.
Okay,
She's on vacay this week and then she'll send it out. So then y'all can really start pouring over that and collectively make some decisions.
sounds good.
Okay, anything else? Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second motion?
My job.
All in favor? Okay, thank you. Thanks, y'all. Thank you all.